welcome to Olsem Wanem. In this episode, we take a look at challenges faced by people with disabilities and Papua New Guinea's high mortality rate. The status of people with disabilities in Papua New Guinea is very low, and their voices often go unheard. And even worse, they are often invisible to service providers. We now address some of their concerns.
Okay, disability, by looking at all different categories, you may get all hearing impaired, meaning I'm all deaf, now all hard of hearing. You may get visual impairment, I'm all eye pass, where you may look at sometimes by looking me blind straight, sometimes low vision. Okay, you may get all line one physical disability, by looking me get an leg no good, stop. You may get all line where only get mental disability, by looking think blowly no good platomas. By look at plenty law line by establish streets blue middle town of Papua New Guinea. All narpla group inside the classroom by plenty of picking only got learning disability. All this line to come and need law category of disability. All by looking at some classroom, plenty time teachers are talking all big line all below average or some. Also come last at the time inside law class and all stuff and need law learning disability me call it.
It is also important to understand and use terms when addressing people with disabilities so that we do not discriminate them in any way. It is also important to understand the terms disability and impairment as they are two different concepts.
Disability was a man he got heavy low body belong na. You got heavy low body or maybe leg or arm or eye or yaw belong and kind of some. Impairment look as some disability to mass me talk. Let me give one example. Suppose you meet to play story stuff na all from the group all yapas all kama. Na suppose all sign law let. Time you no understand more you saw some you got this la impairment or some Kalang Services me promote him person first before the disability. So also na by looking some roles at talk some deaf and dama or deaf and mute or by me talk some this la time I'm discriminating law all yapas law community law. You may call him all persons with hearing impairment or all deaf yet all the right time with a capital letter D by me talk the deaf or the deaf community or the deaf people because only stop and need law one blah or one black group or you may talk I pass mana. The time too plenty time sa discriminate click. So you may talk the person with visual impairment maybe talk put him man pass before the disability.
In Papua New Guinea, people with disabilities continue to face significant barriers to participate in society. And not only that, they are often invisible to service providers. Jerry, a person with visual impairment, highlighted some of the challenges faced by people with disabilities.
Completing my secondary education, I've been to university in PNG, but I haven't completed my studies due to lack of accessibility to buildings, skill training teachers. There's not enough skill training teachers. Not enough facilities, as in like books that has been written in books that are in Braille, not enough books in Braille. There wasn't special skill teachers to translate Braille writing into print so that other teachers could see what I was been doing. Some of the challenges that I face every day is like when going into public buildings. I faced very big challenges by approaching to a security. The security, every security firm needs to be trained properly before they are given licenses or whatever to operate. Because most of their securities they don't understand. So like when they see any disabled person with disability or either blind or a person with a wheelchair, this type of people, like these people are more vulnerable they can be questioned by the security, and even though they are going for business, but they can be rejected, and that's what I face. I'm talking based on my experience.
Some of the challenges every day faced is when we catch private or public transport, because when people are in a hurry, they don't respect people with able eyesight. They most of the time push us aside, not respecting us to get on the public transport. The other thing is, in the buildings, there's no proper accessibility signs, so that we are confused and lost when we go into buildings or in government offices. There's no right accessibility guiding us when we get inside. Like in the lift, there's no braille signs, or in the lift, there's no audio.
The National Disability Organization was then established in 2009 to address issues and advocate on the rights and welfare of people with disabilities.
That all persons with disabilities would like to be referred to as persons, and that they would like to enjoy their rights as citizens of this country. Our mission as an organization is to empower them to recognize their rights and to making sure that they advocate to others. And so we all have a duty. All people have a duty.
Olsem Wanem visited several organizations and people who are determined to work alongside and address the rights of persons with disability. We visited the St. John Blind Center and the Kalang Services.
Okay, the services that we provide here for our blind and visually impaired, rehabilitation, education, and primary eye and ear care. So our first tasking with the patient is we do carry out counseling. Because the person can be easily like you or me, we are living a normal life, and then maybe sick or accident na imbilusin my side yumi. So, but then again, counseling is to help that person adjust to his new way of life.
Peter Wasape, a former student at the St. John Blind Center, he shares with us his experience.
After the age of 6, I encountered my blindness, and after being referred from the Port Moresby General Hospital, I joined St. John Blind Services and became part of the rehabilitation program, which I was learning how to read and write in Braille. I also learned other skills like orientation and mobility, how to walk with a white cane, and the technique of walking with a sighted guide. So also I learned daily living skills, where I can be able to do other daily living skills like washing, laundry, washing dishes or plates and cups, bit of cooking. Yeah, so that was part of my rehab program. After 1 year learning Braille, I was enrolled into a mainstream school at Philip Aravura. That's where I did my grade 1 to 6 with the support, continuous support from St. John Blind School.
Peter is also a living testimony that people with disabilities can excel in different areas of their interests, but it all comes back to the amount of support available. Peter has won an Australian scholarship and will be studying in Australia in 2015.
The two areas that I have applied for, especially these areas are in law and justice. My first choice is bachelor's in social justice, that's in University of Southern Queensland, and my second choice is associate degree in law, that's in University of Southern Cross in Queens, Gold Coast.
Rua Rara worked as a public servant before encountering a serious illness which led to his visual impairment. One can imagine the challenges he faced as he is forced to adapt and accept his new environment.
After some time, a team came from New Zealand. They were having eye screening. So I went to them, they screened my eyes, and the glasses cannot help. So I was referred to St. John Blind Service.
According to the National Disability Resource and Advocacy Center, the status of people with disability is extremely low and their voices often go unheard.
People with disabilities are still struggling and they are still being marginalized in many opportunities. One major one would be that employment opportunities. We haven't really seen most of the employment sectors opening their doors up for people with disabilities to have access to employment, and I would say this not for the sake of employing them because of their disabilities, but because of merit basis. Many people with disabilities have good skills. We have knowledge.
Even though people who are educated, they don't even respect the rights of persons with disability, and even they are not aware of their basic human rights. I think it's the ignorance. And I would also say one of the mottos that I use is like, your ignorance is my disability.
We also got response from the Community Development Office.
The government has signed a convention for the rights of our people with disability. Last year in September, we had Honorable Rimbim Pato, Minister for Foreign Affairs, and my minister travel to New York to ratify the convention. What that means is government is telling the world, the UN family, that we are ready to make the rights real for our people with disability. That's what the government is telling the world. So when we come back here, we must show progress. We must show that we are beginning to make the rights real for our people with disability. Everybody has to take care of their sector. I'm happy to say that Department of Personnel Management has taken care of its sector. The sector is public service. So they have included in the general orders that there must not be any discrimination in the recruitment of our persons with disability. That is now in the Public Service General Order. Department of Education has inclusive education, not to discriminate against our children with disability. I know that NCD Building Board, they've got it in their, their rulings as well. Any upcoming buildings must be disability friendly. What the department is trying to do, we'd like to work with our other partners to ensure that other sectors take care of their own by domesticating their legislations to suit the needs of our people here, and especially including our people with disability.
Mi pla tu kan kotim government lo disila time emol no look savel o kata disabled man marry blah blah because time only sign mem all must provide him enough budget, enough all kata all infrastructure, one kind something all must support him all kata all disabled man marry inside the country.
infant and maternal deaths remain a major health challenge in Papua New Guinea. Statistics shows that there are more babies dying than surviving during critical birth situations all over the country. Those affected are women in rural areas with limited access to basic antenatal healthcare services. Edwin Fidelis with this report.
I met this woman during a recent trip to the Yanguru district in the East Sepik province. She refused to speak on camera but agreed to allow me take a picture of her with her 2 children. Her youngest is a month-old baby. Her story was quite odd. She told me she had to walk for several kilometers to give birth to a baby. But when she arrived at the clinic, she delivered a baby with her legs coming first, but the baby was fine. She was lucky. Many others before her were not so lucky. In the other end of the country, in Misima, I met Ellen Taukuru, the midwife at the Misima District Hospital.
For last year, we lost 2 mothers with birth complications, with bleeding. And there was a case that we cannot handle. The mother bled to death.
The statistics of mothers and babies dying every year at the hospital is just as bad as any other rural areas in the country. A combination of poor health service delivery and shortage of qualified medical personnel drive up a steady increase of infant and maternal deaths. The story is just the same as anywhere else in Papua New Guinea. Infant and maternal deaths remained a major health issue.
To do our procedures. On the resuscitation bed, this is what we got. This is the only resuscitation equipments we have, but we needed more. These are all from the past years, but there's no any other to use, so we still use them. Try our best that we can assist the baby to get to bring the life back.
Statistics compiled by international health organizations such as the UN, OSAID and UNICEF can be recalled by memory. The figures are always daunting. Babies who are born in some of the least developed areas in the country have lesser chances of survival. Many don't make it through their second birthday.
PNG has the highest maternal mortality rate, 733 per 100,000 live births, and we are second to Afghanistan. Afghanistan has been in war. What about PNG? What's going on? Why do we have high maternal rates in this country?
Over the last 30 years, the Australian government pumped in more than 500 billion kina as aid to develop Papua New Guinea's basic services in the areas of health, education and road infrastructure. But the two countries are still a world apart.
The Australian government share a common goal: to save the lives of women and children in childbirth. The fact that a woman in PNG, Australia's closest neighbour, is 80 times more likely to die in childbirth than a woman in Australia concerns me greatly, and I know concerns our Minister greatly. We simply must do better than this. All women must have the right to basic maternal health care. We need to expand the numbers of trained midwives in PNG.
But we have a very close link with the University of Technology, Sydney. They are experts. Time to time they come and help us. And we have got 2 lecturers from Australia. They are with us. And in addition, we have highly dedicated national staff.
The alarming figures suggest that nearly 1,000 deaths occurred in every 100,000 live births every year in Papua New Guinea. That's equivalent to the total number of babies who are born alive in Western Australia.
We must also understand that 80% of our population live in the rural areas. And nurses are out there who are not trained midwives. They're only nurses. And when they come across to a very difficult situation or delivery, they don't know what to do. It only ends up with the death of the mother or the death of the baby or both. And that's tragic.
Moves have been taken to tackle PNG's high infant and maternal deaths every year. The University of Goroka has taken the responsibility of educating more midwives to curb the high statistics of infant and maternal deaths in the country.
In recent years, the alarming statistics of mothers and babies dying every year has attracted international attentions. The figures has put the country at the center of academic research carried out by international organizations such as the UN and UNICEF.
In Australia, of course, the infant mortality and the mother's mortality is 1/10 of what we have in Papua New Guinea. That is because they have a good health service and qualified midwives everywhere in the country. Even the country I'm coming from, Sri Lanka, too, the death rates are quite low. We started these programs long time ago, so we have a significant amount of qualified midwives available.
Much of the blame has been leveled against poor service delivery. Over the years, the Papua New Guinean government has been seen as the main deliverer of basic services, but the government has fallen short in fully achieving its goals due to poor service delivery mechanisms within its provincial and local level government.
What should be done at the ward level in terms of health? It should be an APOS. Next step up is the ward cluster service centre, which should be the health centre. The next step up is the district or local level government headquarters, I should say, which is where there should be a sub-district hospital. Up to the district hospital, and up to the province, there should be a provincial hospital there. And in the same manner with education, we should be linked by the transport system and the communication system. So we just clarify a little bit better in terms of our trying to improve our modalities of delivery, trying to improve implementation.
Affiliated institutions like the University of Goroka have taken on and shared the responsibility of the national government.
Our statistics compared to the other countries in the world is very, very poor. More mothers, more babies are dying in Papua New Guinea than in many, many countries. I think we are second last in the ranking of countries that whose live births have been recorded. And that is not good. What we are doing is to assist in reducing that statistics.
The University of Goroka, in a recent attempt in contributing towards minimizing PNG's high infant and maternal deaths, launched this new midwifery center. The institution commissioned this new building for its health and midwifery division, a donation from the Australian government.
It's a very important project for everyone. The rates of maternal loss is far too high in our country here, and whatever we can do to assist in building the midwifery skills through the new educational facility here in Goroka University is incredibly important.
The institution seeks to educate midwives with an aim of contributing towards minimizing PNG's high infant and maternal death rate. These women are the cream of the midwifery in Papua New Guinea. Recently graduated from the faculty, they will form the network of midwives from all over the country. Some of them have come from remote places with limited access to basic health services.
We teach our students so that they will go out to the rural communities where there are no doctors and other health professionals so that they will be able to save their lives. UOG has taken the initiative to have the midwifery program in this country. This is the 5th year of running this program, and we have graduated high numbers of midwifery graduates, And we have just launched a project called UOG Midwives Project, where we want to network with graduates, conduct research, continue professional development, health education to the community, and have contact with our graduates so that they don't lose their midwifery skills and knowledge.
And hopefully, given 4 to 5 years, I am hopeful that the School of Midwifery will produce enough midwives to service the health facilities in Papua New Guinea.
In Papua New Guinea, the health system has been carrying a battered image of poor service delivery into the rural areas. Infant and maternal death statistics provided are of those in towns and cities or from places nearest to urban areas. Those from rural areas go unreported. While positive moves have been taken to address the health issue, many say it is still a long way off for Papua New Guinea as a nation.
And that's all for this episode. Thank you to all who have participated. And if you have any comments or stories you would like to share, please contact us via the address on your screen or visit us on our Facebook page. For now, enjoy the rest of your viewing on your #1 station, MTV.